What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So let me tell you guys something. As you can see in the thumbnail, Antonio Tarver got interviewed, and I think this was a fight hype interview, and he was asked about Floyd and Roy. Now I'm gonna tell you what Antonio Tarver did that I respect. See, he didn't feed into this whole beef between Floyd and Roy. Antonio Tarver know what these childish motherfuckers was doing. Now, do I agree with everything Antonio Tarver's saying do? Nope, especially when he's commentating fights. A lot of times he go into bullshit mode too. Okay, but Antonio Tarver, like he said in Floyd's defense, okay, or the logic or however you want to say it, he basically, like he said, you can't take nothing away from what Floyd did, man. You can't take away nothing, and pretty much for you to sit up here and talk about what somebody else wasn't and what they were to try to belittle them, like you can't sit up here and talk shit about somebody waking up 5 o'clock in the morning on that grind, living their dream, man, and doing what they doing to try to keep that focus and stay on top. It's easy to talk that shit. And I'm even making Antonio shit sound better because I'm saying what he said, but I'm putting my shit in as well. Okay? And he basically, like he said, Roy was a bad motherfucker, which I agree with. Now, he said something in there that I don't agree with, but I'm not arguing with the way he see it. What he said, too, was Roy was a bad motherfucker, and I agree. He said, if it wasn't for me, if I didn't beat Roy, Roy would still be on top of the world. That, we don't know. That's the part. Now, so my disagreement with that is we don't know that. We can't say who Roy would have fought, who else he would have fought. That you can't say who wouldn't have beat him. You can't say that. And especially then, if you think about it, Roy became flat-footed when Antonio Tarver beat him. Now, he was only 36 years old, but bottom line, he became flat-footed. He couldn't move the way he used to. Alton Murchison sat there and said, Roy Jones is getting hit a lot more in training. We see that, but with his experience and him being a fighter, you try to, nullify those things and try to work on those things, and you don't know how it's going to play out in the fight. So we can't fucking say that if Tarver didn't beat him, nobody else would have. Now, for that matter, he didn't even have to fight Tarver at all. He could have just retired after the Ruiz fight. But my whole point is people would have had a false interpretation of how good he would have been. They would have just, imagine what he would have did. He went up and fought John Ruiz. And he fought a heavyweight. Man, imagine him going back down to light heavyweight. Those guys wouldn't have been able to hurt him. You know what I'm saying? And who was there? There was no names. That's what you would have heard. He would have dominated. And not only that, they would have assumed, Roy might have been able to beat Lennox Lewis. He might have been, you know what I'm saying? Because now they start digging up history, looking at who did what, and then looking at what he's done already, and people use their imagination. And they start assuming. We don't have to assume. We saw what the fuck happened. So I disagree with him on that note. But it's not about an argument. He can feel what the fuck he want to feel. Now, when he talked about Floyd, he talked about him having a show to that 24/7 was the design for Floyd. Well, let me tell you something. It was about him and it was about his opponent. And who else benefited after that? Because 24/7 didn't end with Floyd. Their careers ended different from Floyd's, though, didn't it? So it doesn't matter. Yeah, he was marketed, but what Tarver is not understanding, Floyd, this is Floyd's input. This is Floyd doing business with these different companies. This is Floyd making sure he gets marketed right. Every fucking fighter should want to. And it's obvious that these other guys wasn't seen that way. Because they was on 24/7. But let's look at their careers and look at Floyd's career. And this is where, but like he said, he didn't feed into that shit about Floyd versus Roy. He seemed irritated by the question. Like, fuck that, that's stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, come on, all this over what? Because see, he don't want to take sides in this shit, just like Andre Ward didn't want to take sides in this shit. But my whole thing is this: Roy's acting like a little spoiled bitch right now. Because just like, okay, for example, Shakur Stevenson said that he think that Sugar Ray Robinson is buns, called him ass. So now what, Roy want to fight Shakur too? Like, come on, it's bullshit. And the thing about it is Roy was dead wrong. You disrespect and degrade this man's name, and because he didn't send you no subliminal message, like I said, he didn't talk sideways or nothing. He had the right to respond how the fuck he wanted, but he basically just sat there and watched you get knocked the fuck out. So the difference in what Floyd did versus what Roy did is Roy gave an opinion, okay, on how Floyd basically wouldn't have no chance against Sugar Ray Leonard. All Floyd did was show you get knocked the fuck out by people who wasn't on Ray Leonard's level and wasn't on Floyd's level either. In fact, these motherfuckers was bums. Now, Tarver wasn't a bum, but Tarver wasn't no great fucking fighter. Tarver was just a guy that has some good skills and just happened to knock your ass out. You understand what I'm saying? But Tarver basically, like he said, y'all claim y'all love boxing so much, man, but they over here trying to feed into the whole, yo, what you think about Roy Floyd? Like a bunch of immature motherfuckers, man. You see, remember when Alicia Baumgarten stabbed Shields in the back, and I said, I don't like the fight. It's stupid because Shields is just too big for her. And then two, I don't like, more importantly, the fact that this bitch, the way she did it, I can't respect that shit. I can't respect that. You imagine one of my homies all of a sudden, somebody like, yo, Aries, man. Yo, turn on, go on YouTube and watch such as this motherfucker talking shit. And now somebody who I think is my friend. And I'm hearing this motherfucker talking about how I don't want to smoke with him. He called me out one time in Trent. Like, yo, bro, I'll probably go to that motherfucker, like, find him and beat his ass in the street first. Then beat his ass in the ring if he can make it. Like, you understand what I'm saying? I'm like, that was some backstabbing, two-faced bullshit. You had all these goofy-ass content creators. Yo, we need that fight. Yo, I'm saying, yo, bump. Nobody's looking at that. Nobody cares about respect. Nobody cares about loyalty. It's the way she did it. I don't give a fuck about the fight, really. I think she's too small and Shields will beat her ass, but she's not willing to go up to her weight class. Used her name for clout, and she did it in a two-faced way. And when Tony Harrison said, I don't like that fight at all, Tony Harrison understood what the fuck I was thinking. And he even brought up the friendship and like the way it was done, but he didn't get into it. You understand what I'm saying? And it shows you how many fake motherfuckers are here. Same thing when you had Layla Ali and Clarissa Shields not getting along and going back and forth. Yo, we need this fight. Why? A 45, whatever the fuck, however old Layla was at the time, ain't fought in over a decade. She just gonna jump in there and get her ass whooped, because that's what would have happened. Clarissa would have whooped her ass, and then what? Oh man, if she was younger, that wouldn't have happened. Well, she's not younger. And you know what? She knows she's not younger. She's no longer in her prime. Now, she's talking like she can go in there and beat Clarissa right now, but guess who didn't want the smoke between the two of them? Okay, now am I taking sides? Nope, I'm just being honest about the situation. Layla didn't need that shit. For what? For what? She didn't need that shit. But my point is the way these motherfucking thirsty ass, super childish so-called grown men react when they hear news. Keith Thurman ignores fucking Jerron Ennis, but he responds to a woman. So when I address it, I'm picking on Keith. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Nah. No, address another man. Address Jerron Boots Ennis for saying he'll kick your ass. Nah, you didn't like the fact that Shields said she thinks she could beat you, but Jerron said he know he could beat you. You ignoring him, he ain't on my level. Oh, so Shields is on your level though. Come on, man. Wake up, grow up. So Tarver didn't feed into this shit. I guess the people interviewing him thought he was going to, he's going to feed into it. He didn't feed into that bullshit, man. And this is the shit that I'm saying, man. Y'all talk all this shit like it's easy to just fight, especially as long as Floyd fought and remain undefeated and the fight for the type of money he fought and all the shit that he brought to the sport. Y'all always want to talk about what somebody brought to the sport. Who brought, to the sport itself? Who brought more to the sport? This dude, you got to understand something. You know, when y'all want to call somebody a cherry picker, let's understand. How many countless times have we used the term a cherry pick going wrong? Then look at who he fought that y'all called cherry picks. Now look at who the fuck Roy fought. So that means he have a career cherry picks. Do I think Roy Jones was scared to fight other dudes? Nope. Why the fights didn't happen? I don't know. But the fights didn't happen. Let me just put it that way. And at the same time, did you hear Roy Jones calling these names out? It don't matter who I fight, whoever they put in front of me, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to come in and perform. No. But did you hear Roy Jones? You know, like I told you, like, remember the video I put up when I showed you guys Shane Mosley talking about he had to go get his tooth fixed and all that, and he was trying to fight somebody else. But remember, Floyd said he wanted, is a rumor that Oscar De La Hoya is coming out at 147. I want to fight Tim Costas, who, you know what I'm saying? I want to fight Oscar De La Hoya. He wanted those fights. Remember I showed y'all that? Remember I showed y'all the receipt of, was it Larry Merchant telling Floyd after, I think it was after Diego Corrales fight, and he says, well, I'm sure after seeing that performance, Prince Nassim Hamed is not going to want to fight you. But yet they turn around and say Floyd was ducking and Floyd was waiting for people to get old. Shane was the fucking one. Oh, well, we'll see because other fights I, want to get in this. Yeah, right. But yet Shane is the one who jumped his ass in the ring with Bernard Hopkins after Floyd just beat Juan Manuel Marquez, begging for the ass whooping. But yet Floyd waited for him to get old. But yet purposely y'all don't remember when he was calling him out. But nah, he waited for him to get old. Nah, this is what I'm saying. I just bring the truth to you guys. So, yeah, man. I'm like, at least Tarver didn't go and act like some clown bitch trying to fucking, hype up a fight between, like, bro, and I'm saying this, and I mean this shit. Whatever the fuck Roy Jones weigh right now, I think Floyd, whatever he weighs, will go in there and beat Roy's ass right now. Roy got no fucking legs. He got no fucking knees. Roy Jones is slow on his feet. His reflexes is gone. Floyd is still sharp as fuck. And the only thing Roy would have over him is size. But Roy can't even fight and put his weight on. He can't do nothing. Then Roy don't throw a high volume of punches. So he's not faster than Mayweather. His reflexes aren't better. So what is he going to do? All Roy trying to do is find himself in a situation to get a big check. And maybe because Floyd is so much smaller, he think he can beat him. I think Floyd would beat the shit out of Roy right now. Like right now, like I don't even think he got to gain no weight. But Roy would like a complete bitch to go in there at whatever weight he is, trying to fight a smaller guy. And it's the same fucking dude that's sitting up here, like I showed y'all how he changed his story with Jake Paul, right? Because he want that fight to make the money. Ain't nobody scared of no fucking Roy Jones, man. This dude has been so washed up and so over the hill for so long, y'all, with this, but he's a legend, and man, fuck all of that. See, this is the problem with y'all. I can't stand being around weak people, man. Like, seriously, that shit, it make you want to slap the shit out of people when they sit around you with that, but he's a legend, he's okay. So I tell you what, motherfucker, for that matter, we got legends in the street out this motherfucker. And they went around bullying people, extorting people, and all types of shit. And it took a motherfucker like me to be the one to let them know, y'all ain't taking shit from me, man. You understand what I'm saying? And you know what? People that hated my guts appreciated me when they felt safe now. Because certain motherfuckers in the neighborhood, they were no longer there. And it wasn't because of no Bloods, no Crips. It was because of a motherfucker like me and my family and the people that stood with me. Like, y'all ain't gonna come around here with that shit. But you motherfuckers got this bow down and worship motherfuckers. Nah, man. That's not who I am. And so, no. When I heard Tarver say what he said, I'm like, you know what, man? At least somebody out this motherfucker. Andre Ward, I don't know how close he is with Floyd or not. I know he's... Roy is his idol and all that or whatever, but he didn't want to get involved and say too much. I ain't going to knock him for that. But Tarver was like, fuck that, man. Everybody want to instigate and hype up some shit. Every time you hear two people say something, don't mean, now they got to fight because they had words. First of all, I think it would be completely stupid. Because the fight would be based on what? You disrespected Floyd. Floyd responded. All he did was showed you get knocked the fuck out. Had you won, he couldn't have did that. Now, could he? Now, you didn't like his response. And Roy Jones sound like a straight up, like he sound like a big bully. He gonna say, he don't like what I say. He got a problem with what I say. He think he better than me. You know what I'm saying? We can just fight. Okay. So now he going in and kick your old ass. Then it's going to be what? What's the excuse going to be? Because dare you open your mouth or your fans and talk about when you was younger. Because guess what? You 50 something. Floyd is pushing 50. I mean, this shit is amazing to me, man. This is what y'all want to see for what? All this is people that think everything that comes out of a fighter's mouth or somebody say something, this warrants a fight. This gives them something more to talk about on their channels and make more out of it than what it is. And the reality is really, really simple, man. Roy was in the wrong. Plain and simple. You said what you said. Okay, cool, no problem. Floyd did what he did. What's the problem? It's not like he lied on you. All he did was showed you get knocked the fuck out. Maybe you want to forget that happened. Maybe you want people that never saw it happen, didn't realize that it happened. You didn't want them to see it, or whatever it may be. But you didn't let what came out of your mouth, you didn't stop yourself from saying it. All right, y'all. Had to relocate in my house. Just got that emergency notification about a possible shortage and all of that, power shortage or whatever. And then you got people out there making a bunch of noise, so I had to relocate. But anyway, listen, I just wanted to, say, like I said, Antonio Tarver didn't feed into the bullshit. And I say this, as far as Floyd and Roy fighting each other, I'm not interested. I don't care about it. But if it was to happen, I think Roy is just going to further embarrass himself. And then basically after that, people are going to look more into his resume. And like I said, he can't go into that, well, he's older now, which his fans will. And even if he went and said all that, well, you ran your mouth and then called Floyd out. But Floyd could also make you even look stupider by simply making another video, right? Showing you, you understand what I'm saying? Like really, like he don't even have to say your name. But the reality is, Roy started this shit. I get to talk shit about you. You just can't say it back to me. That's what he's trying to do. Get the fuck out of here, Roy. Man, there's plenty of people that don't even think you was as good as you say you are. You're more concerned about how somebody see Ali than how they see you. But then you wind up making videos about this man being disrespectful and he's not supposed to respond to you. Like, that's bullshit. That's pure bullshit. And Antonio Tarver is looking at it like, man, come on. And that's part of the problem right now when it comes to anything. You always have somebody. There's always some motherfucker trying to tell you who the fuck somebody else was and who they wasn't. And then they want to be seen a certain way. And when they're not, it turns into a whole, but, this person, he's saying this and he's saying that. I'm not hating. All I'm saying, when you have to say I'm not hating, usually, just to start a sentence like that, why you gotta make that known you're not hating? Just like when somebody say, no disrespect, but the next thing come out their mouth is gonna be some of the most disrespectful shit, but they'll always start the sentence with no disrespect. Bro, say what you gonna say what you mean, right? Say what you say what you mean what you say. Real simple. Like I said earlier, the difference in what you did and what Floyd did is all you did was gave a bullshit opinion. Floyd just showed facts of the reality of what happened to you. And you pissed off because you can't do the same thing. Who the fuck are you? What gives you the... I don't like bullies, man. What gives you the fucking right to think you can say what the fuck you want about somebody? You know what I'm saying? He think he better than me. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Roy. There's plenty of people that think they're better than you. That guy, Steve Collins, had been calling you out. There's several people that think they're better than you, man. You understand what I'm saying? And why you don't want to fight them? You understand what I'm saying? And unlike you, Floyd was calling names out. See, these dudes ain't want to fight Floyd. But once Floyd became the cash cow, oh yeah, they want that payday. You wasn't calling motherfuckers. You was just, baby, I'll fight whoever, don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Floyd was always smarter than you. You admitted he was smarter. You admitted he was. He was smarter than you. He was better than you. He's still smarter than you. He's still better than you. And that is eating you up. And you and your fan base just can't understand. like how bad you're looking out here. And, I don't know what your relationship is with Antonio Tarver, but at the end of the day, man, if Tarver could get in your ear and tell you, man, yo, Roy, you need to cool the fuck out. Like, seriously, man. Like, you said what you said about that man. What the fuck you think this man's supposed to do? What Errol Spence said, Errol Spence called you a fucking hater and said you need to shut the fuck up. Why the fuck you ain't challenged Errol Spence to a fight? Yeah, well, yeah, why you ain't challenge him to a fight? And I don't want to hear no motherfucking he's from a different area. You say you stay ready all the time. You wide open. That's what you said, right? All you gotta do is call me. You ain't jump up and talk that shit to Errol Spence. It's something about Floyd. We know you jealous of him. We already know what those somethings are. You jealous of him, man. But Antonio Tarver wasn't going for the bullshit. He ain't want to sit here and indulge in who would win and what if and all that. He just wanted to make it known, man. And I feel like a lot of his frustration in what he was saying was directed at Roy, but he didn't want to say it. Because let's just be real. You called another man's name saying, think about the whole comment that Roy made. He's talking to Andre Ward, right? And he's talking about Sugar Ray Leonard. Andre Ward ain't asked him shit. Andre Ward asked him, you don't think he would have beat him after Roy made the comment? And what did he say? It's like when people always say Floyd would have beat Ray Leonard. No, baby, no. See what I'm saying? He ain't want. He went into that. So his old stubborn, bitter ass can't see himself as the hater that he is. He's always been a fucking hater, man. He's always been a fucking hater of Floyd. So when he's saying that, and it's because think about it, between the two of them, how can Tarver say anything about what Floyd did? All Floyd did was sit there watching this man get knocked the fuck out. You understand what I'm saying? And really, when you look at what Roy did, not only did he stand there and give his opinion on who he think would have won between Ray Leonard and Floyd, even though nobody was fucking asking. You know what I'm saying? But he did it and said it as if him saying this, like he wasn't concerned about it getting back to Floyd. Like he don't care how Floyd feels about it, right? Because he said it. He know Floyd gonna hear the shit. Okay, Floyd catches wind of it. Floyd decides, man, you so unimportant to me that I'm not even gonna fucking verbally say anything to you. Watch what I'm gonna do. He sat there and watched you get folded, right? And you sitting up here want to challenge him to a fucking fight because he basically sat there and just watched videos of you get your ass kicked. Because that's the reality of it. And he did it in front of a camera, just like you stood in front of a camera and said what you said about him to Andre Ward. So now Andre Ward has been asked by Radio Raheem. Different people was asked that, and it's like, man, see, people have this things like they try to show mutual respect to two fighters. I'd have to be like, yo, man, either I don't get involved in it at all, or if I'm going to speak, I'm going to say, like, plain and simple, man, Roy was wrong. He was fucking wrong. Now, my thing is, he said what he said. Okay, leave it the fuck alone. Floyd responded, leave it alone. Now you're looking stupid out here, trying to fight a guy like, look, just because he responded to some dumb shit you said. And the thing is, even when he talk about I knew putting that jab in his face really ain't like a jab. So Floyd couldn't jab them. Floyd couldn't use his jab too, just like you claim you did. And who the fuck asked you, did you spar Ray Leonard? You see what I'm saying? Like Roy is a fucking hater, man. I honestly, man, I grew up like watching this dude. And I always, Roy always been a talented dude. I ain't gonna never say he wasn't, because he was. And I always expressed that he was a super talented fighter. But once again, you still didn't do this shit against the top level dudes. You did it against good and decent motherfuckers. You ain't do this against no great motherfuckers. And even, like I said, like James Toney, stop talking like James Toney was unbeatable, man. Stop. Because he wasn't. And neither were you. So when the more Roy talk, it's like, damn, Roy, you know what I'm saying? He's just a bitter old hater, man. And then when you sit and talk about what you did and what you would have did because you got people that got opportunities that you didn't have and all these spectacles they put together and all that. Like Roy Jones, man, you even when it came to you fighting Bernard Hopkins in the rematch, before the actual rematch, because Roy, remember, Bernard Hopkins wanted 50-50, remember that? And he's like, all right, well, I got to split 50-50 with a man. I beat him already. Okay, but Floyd Mayweather, to his credit, he was saying, I'm undefeated. What the fuck I got to split 50-50 with Manny Pacquiao before he got 3 losses? But Pacquiao got better. So what? So what? Bernard Hopkins got better too. So what? And he still had 3 losses. And guess what? He got his ass knocked out by Marquez. Right? And then I went to fight for it. Now all of a sudden he'll take whatever Floyd will give him. He ain't got no choice. And then Floyd beat the dog shit out of Marquez. What did you do? No 50-50 with Bernard Hopkins. You beat him, all right? See what I'm saying? But Floyd, like he's saying, Pacquiao got 3 fucking losses. What the fuck I got to split 50-50 with him for? And between the two, no, Pacquiao wasn't the big draw. It was Floyd. Now, the two of them together made the spectacle, yes, the 2 names involved. But when I'm saying Floyd has always been a much bigger draw than Pacquiao. So when you made that comment, you said what you said. Then when you finally fought Tarver, you got knocked the fuck out, and you end up fighting fucking Bernard Hopkins some years later after you was no longer, really shit, and he pretty much beat your ass up again. You got beat up again. You lost that fucking fight, and you just was never the fucking same. And you kept popping up in the ring fight. It was times Roy fought. I didn't even know Roy had a fight. And I see some shit like, damn, Roy fought? That's where your career went. And like I said, your saving grace to try to get you back on track, man, was when you stepped up against Jeff Lacey, and then when you fought against Felix Trinidad. And I already spoke on where they were by the time you fought them. You know what I'm saying? And then you went in there with Joe Calzaghe and once again showed you can't compete on that highest level. And what did you say after you beat motherfucking Jeff Lacey? I told you I ain't went nowhere. You trying to tell everybody you still the same fighter. Okay, so bottom line, when Floyd sat there watching you get knocked out, it's not like he was using computer AI. It's not like he was making up shit. He just sat there quietly watching you get knocked the fuck out. And the worst thing that happened to you, you talking all this shit, and you get in there, and Floyd decided to take you up that offer and beat your old ass. And what are you going to say then? And the whole thing would be because of your fucking mouth. Because if you didn't say what you said about Floyd, Floyd wouldn't have sat there and watched you get knocked the fuck out on camera. This is what makes me laugh about people. You can say what the fuck you want. But then when somebody retaliates, now all of a sudden they did something wrong, but you didn't. And if any one of you motherfuckers is too pussy to tell Roy that, that's your fucking problem. But that motherfucker's dead wrong. So like I said, the most that he should do is just, okay, fuck it. I said what I said, and then Floyd did what he did. But you sound stupid, man, popping up in front of the cameras talking about how you want to fight Floyd. Man, sit your old rusty, broken-ass knees down, man. I swear, boy, the lack of maturity in grown adults is crazy, man. The less you say in that microphone, the better, man. Because the more you talk, it's just like, damn, you ain't talking like you still in your fucking prime and shit, man. Anyway, like I said, man, Antonio Tarver basically shut that bullshit down, man. It's funny to me how these old bitter motherfuckers is quick to talk negative and want to talk about who can't do what and who's who and who's what, but who ain't what and all that. But at the same fucking time, man, you don't show camaraderie to people that is in this game just like you. People that get up early in the morning and train just like you, put their life on the line just like you. Leave their families for long periods of time just like you. They all do the same thing. And then here comes some salty motherfucker want to come and try to tell everybody who somebody is based on who they like and don't like. And the fact that that person surpassed them. Okay, so here's the deal, man. How many historians think that Roy Jones is better than motherfucking Sugar Ray Robinson, Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Thomas Hearns, Ezra Charles? You understand what I'm saying? I can go on. How many people okay, so my point is, no matter how many names you bring up saying Floyd wouldn't beat, those very same people, like I said it before, people don't think you would have beat them. And Floyd is a lot smaller. You're the same size as these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? At some point, Ray Leonard went up to 160. You understand what I'm saying? Durant went up to 160. Hearns went all the way up to fucking cruiserweight, and Hagler was already at middleweight. So my point is, with all of that, and I'll tell you what, the funny thing about what Roy said was, Roy said if they would have did something different, talking about him and his father, then maybe they would have a chance. But what he saw in them, once again. So when we say, Roy, let's take your logic and apply it to your career. What the fuck have we seen you do that makes us think you could have beat any of them? So just like the historians, do you see the point what I'm saying? Everybody can have an opinion. But if you base it on what you've actually done and haven't done, that's my point. You can't even compare your career to Floyd's. That's a fact. Now, what people see in you and think that you're better than Floyd or real, okay, cool, whatever. Once again, opinions. But let's look at who you lost to and let's look at who Floyd lost to. Let's look at who y'all fought. No comparison. Skill set wise, Floyd is better than you two, like I said. And Antonio Tarver knows that Roy was wrong for that shit. You know, one thing I find about these motherfuckers is that even though, now they're all grown, but what I'm saying is you got somebody 7, 8 years older than somebody else, but the level of maturity is never this, like, it's like the older you get, the more ignorant some people get. You know what I'm saying? You walk around and talk about God all the time. This is what kills me about you so-called righteous motherfuckers. God, this, you, and God, always talk about God. Notice how God don't come out their mouth when they get mad. Notice how God don't come out their mouth when they envious, jealous asses want to do something because their ego get the best of them. Ain't about God then. It's only when things going good for them. God, you know, and God. Well, maybe your old bald-headed ass need to talk to God. And have your God tell you need to sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up because you making an ass out of yourself over some shit you started. So if Tarver won't tell you, I'm saying that shit. And I don't give a fuck about all these people glazing your old ass talking about what you are and what you is. I think one of the dudes said, Roy, you need to sit the fuck down. Say, seriously, you looking stupid out here, man. You looking real stupid out here. And then this the shit I'm talking about, man. You know, your father was being interviewed one time and said he wouldn't let you fight Buster Douglas because Buster was just too big. And you know what you said? No, I don't care what his size. I don't care. Like, you always want people to think you so fearless. You ready to die, right? Motherfucker, I remember somebody asked you about fighting James Toney in a rematch at heavyweight, and you said, nah, he too big. He too big, man. They come down and weigh something. He too big. Oh. But you're not too big for Floyd. See, this is what I'm saying. And you're not. I think Floyd still dust your ass off right now, whatever weight he is. But that's the point what I'm saying. You stood there out of your mouth. Now, you said you didn't care about fighting Buster Douglas. You didn't care about his size, but James Toney was too big. And this was, you know, after y'all done fought already, and he went up to heavyweight, of course, and you had fought at heavyweight against Ruiz. But you got, he too big. He too big. That was your excuse. But you want to fight little Floyd. You see what I'm saying? You sound stupid, man. That's like the more I listen to it, the more I think about it, it's just like, wow, man. You know, like if you ever had two cousins or uncles that's arguing or somebody in your family and you like, yo, and you start getting at them, I ain't never been that neutral motherfucker. I'm always going to say what I feel based on what both motherfuckers did. Floyd ain't do shit wrong. Floyd ain't do nothing petty. Floyd let you know, I'm not no bitch for you to be playing my name like that. You know, and unlike you, I don't have to give my opinion about who I think you can't beat. Let me just sit here and watch you get knocked the fuck out with your 10 loss having ass. And basically, that's what it came down to. You mad about some shit you started, and yet, big bad tough Roy want to try to fight a fucking welterweight. Yeah, that's real tough. That welterweight will whoop your ass, man. Sit your old ass down, drink your Metamucil, rub your Bengay on your fucking knees, and just enjoy the rest of your fucking life, man, because you seem like a miserable, bitter old motherfucker. And Antonio Tarver was the first person that I heard really address this shit properly, man, because he's not trying to get caught up in that shit. You know, Andre Ward, like I said, I ain't going to knock him for not saying more than what he said, but bottom line, That's what this shit comes down to, though. People got yes men around them, or people that don't want to say what they should say, and they try to play neutral. How the fuck you gonna play neutral with somebody talking shit, man? Nah, Roy was wrong. It's as simple as that. And if you don't want to hear that from nobody, fuck them, because that's part of what I'm talking about. These headstrong motherfuckers think they can do no wrong. I'm going to say what the fuck I want about you, but you can't retaliate without me feeling some type of way. Nobody give a fuck about how you feel, man. Real shit. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys now. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.